Well, we are on another jam session with me, Jiao Shi, and we are here during the period of Yǔ Shuǐ, and this is when we still are feeling the weather changes, and we've getting a lot of weather this week in the western part of the country where we're getting blizzards and such, and we're also experiencing heat waves and all kinds of weather changes as we moving in the period of Yǔ Shuǐ, which is in southern China. You will see that they have the increase of rainfall, but in this year of the windy green dragon, we are seeing all kinds of weather changes on the planet. So, from that period till March 5th, which ends that, we start to go into March 6th, which is the opening day of the Jingzi, which thunder and begins and the hibernating insects wake up, which is the period between March 6th and March 20th. So as we see these periods move, we now start to get the thunder. So the thunder begins to wake everything up, wake the planet up, wake the insects up, and things start moving around. And the insects help us pollinate the flowers and continue moving into spring. And that's where we get all our fruits from. So now, this is the third phase of spring one, and then we march quickly towards the vernal equinox when the West finally recognizes spring. So we have a few more days, 3 more days until we finish up the rainwater period and we start the period of awakening of the insects. So as you can see, we started with February 4th through 10th this year was Chinese New Year and the start of spring. And then we had the rainwater. Then we had the awakening of insects as we're starting. And we're going to be moving into all the way into grain rain. So let's deal with the temperature changes that we are experiencing here in Florida. So from the start of spring, we started with 75, moving into 79, and then 81, then 81. And then as of today, March 2nd, our highs are going to be at 82. But you can see on the opposite side or closer to the northern latitudes in Montreal, things are starting to warm up. Things are starting to warm up at 28, 46, 24, 18, and 40 today. So with today's highs at 40 in Montreal, everything in between, like New York and Shanghai and Chicago, are also starting to waken up. So as you can see, things are starting to get more into the spring-like posture. And as things become more springy, then we can move into a warmer, more what? The pores begin to open up in our bodies begin to circulate easier, the joints begin to get looser. All of these things begin to happen because of our experiencing the warmer weather's changes in the atmosphere. So as we see, that is the highs. Let's see what the lows are at night. So the lows are still pretty low in different hemispheres, but coming from 47, now our lows tonight in Orlando will be 66. So things are starting to warm up, things are starting to move in a more spring-like direction. And places like New York, are at from 31 to 40 tonight, and places like Montreal are warming up relatively from 16 to 31, still below freezing, but a lot warmer than it was. So as you begin to see things moving into that direction, we can now begin to experience a little bit more of a loosening type of experience where the joints begin to loosen, where the ligaments and the connective tissue begin to loosen, everything begins to loosen. So this is a great thing if you don't like the cold like me. So, as things begin to warm up, I get a lot happier. So as we move forward into the areas of the world that are starting to warm up, everything above the equator, as you can see, right around Florida, around the 29th, 30th, and 31st parallel, is starting to get warmer. And below the equator, they're starting to get cooler. So everybody in the southern hemisphere is actually going to start experiencing more fall-like weather and everything starting to get a little bit cooler. So then now that we know where we are, and then we're like southern China, everything is moving towards a warmer direction because St. Augustine is synonymous with Cairo, and Cairo is synonymous with Punjab and Ningbo, and above that is Sichuan and Wuhan. We now can see that we're experiencing almost the same type of weather patterns and weather phenomenon. So like in the northern more hemisphere, like 35, 40, and 45, anywhere that is like Albuquerque, Charlotte, Denver, Philadelphia, Portland, and Minneapolis is synonymous with Philadelphia is synonymous with Beijing. Charlotte and Albuquerque are synonymous with Xi'an. So then now you can see how we all experience our different weather patterns, and they are synonymous with where we are on the planet and the seasonal expression. So what should we be doing now? Let's now continue to enjoy spring as it moves from the start of spring. We're just moving through the rainwater. Now we're moving through the third part and getting closer to the equinox, and this is the awakening of the insects period. So as we go through the awakening of the insects period, we can see that now, again, our pores are opening up and we have to get our bodies ready for that event. So how do we get our bodies ready for the event? We can now add things into our respective diets as we do for each of the solar cycles. And depending upon our constitution, whether we are a yang type or a yin type, we can look at our yin yang and nutritional guidance for the ancient spring periods. So last time we used sour green plum and cranberry, but this time I'm recommending tangerine and pineapple. Tangerine and pineapple. So if you are a yang type, you should be using things like tangerine. If you're a yin type, then you can start experiencing things like pineapple. So then now let's talk a little bit deeper about tangerine. So as we look at tangerine, we can see it is carminative. It is opens the channel, strengthens the stomach, stops things like cough, improves the appetite, promotes the energy circulation, correct the congestion, and quenches thirst. As it's quenching the thirst, it also lubricates the lungs. So this one does a lot of different things for our particular body. So now when we get to carminative, we can look at how it goes through and moves everything through our digestive system. Opening up the channels has to do with the meridian system, the 12 meridians, the 8 extraordinary channels, and the 15 collaterals. So basically, it's opening up all of those channels to provide better circulation for us. And when it strengthens the stomach and actually helps regulate the pH of the body, then when we have any type of upset stomach or any type of issues with our digestion, actually, that helps our digestion get better over time. So this is why it can improve the appetite. Now, if everything's moving in that direction, then what does it do to the diaphragm? It relaxes that smooth muscle, allows the diaphragm to now relax and let the body get more air. And then that means that we have better response when our body is trying to recover from symptoms like cough. Now, as that circulation is moving through the body, we now can see that what? It can remove any type of congestion because cough is congestion. So it's promoting the energy circulation to correct congestion. And that makes it so much simpler for us if we're experiencing any type of cough. And now, when we have that, we also have issues with promoting saliva from the salivary gland. So with this tangerine fruit, this can help regulate that promotion in the salivary glands and allow us to experience what? Lubrication of the lungs and then also quenching thirst. So this is a great fruit for us to now experience any type of facilitation of energy and regulation of any type of digestive disorder. So now let's get to our yin folks, our yin types. And let's talk about pineapple because pineapple, from a Western standpoint, has so many different enzymes. So it can help stimulate the enzymatic production in our body, which it also, like tangerine, aids in digestion. So you can see the theme of the next period that we still have to stimulate our digestive processes because as we move into this next period, we're going to have to now make sure our digestion is in place just like when the insects wake up in the Jingzi period, they're ready to eat. So then now we want to stimulate our body's digestion just like hungry insects. So then now this aids in digestion, stops diarrhea. So as the pH changes and the body actually starts to regulate between alkaline and acidic, then now this is how it can check diarrhea. If the body's going too much in one direction, it can actually check it and move it in another direction. It also has the function of dispelling too much heat. So if we're having issues with being overly stimulated, like febrile disease, then if you're having any type of symptoms like that, the idea is that pineapple can actually regulate your body's ability to actually help the immune system regulate itself. So summer heat typically means the heat of the summer where the body gets too hot, but it can also allude to any type of febrile disease. So these are some great fruits that we have that we can be using to now understand how our body responds in the Jingzi period if you're a yang type or if you are a yin type. So as we move forward into the preparation of March 6th, whether we are a yang type or a yin type, we now know what to do for ourselves as we go through the path of self discovery. And I just want to remind all of you if you're experiencing any type of symptoms or you have any indications or conditions that you want to address with me, you can always go to OHO Seminars and sign up for one of our virtual consults. And then you and I can discuss what you're experiencing, and we can make some recommendations to get you back on track and back into your alignment of the four energies. So, and remember, you can always get body typed or have anyone else that you may know that are having some issues. And once they are body typed by me, then you'll be able to start your path of self-discovery. I'm Jiao Shi, and I will see you all next time.